how I knew it was time to give my life to Christ. So I'm gonna be open and transparent in this video like always, but some of the major ways that I knew it was time to give my life to Christ was everything that was going on around me just felt like I couldn't grow in nothing I would try to do. I couldn't get the right workplace, couldn't find the right happiness, couldn't find the right peace, couldn't find the right environment to even live in. It just felt like everything in my life just started to go downhill. So I knew that it was time, but I was kind of avoiding it. So I'm just gonna give a little quick testimony of mine. I had just had my first child. Okay, yes, my first child. Sorry, and it was my little girl. It was a precious moment of mine. Me and my wife was enjoying ourselves at that time. But after that, everything just started kind of going downhill for us. My marriage started to fall apart. My mother ended up passing away, like 2 or 3 weeks after I had my first daughter. It was a dark area for me. I was realizing that everything around me was dark. I always had this great relationship with my mom, this great bond. Um, I was the baby out of 9 children, and I didn't have a relationship with any of my brothers and sisters. I just kind of felt alone, isolated. My wife would kind of, be separated from me because she had her own demons that she was battling. So I just felt alone, away from everybody, away from everything. And I just felt like there's no purpose of me being here, especially like without my mom. And I guess the only joy I kind of found was in my daughter at that time. So I started to just look at her as my reason of being here, as staying here. And at certain times, like, I thought that that would be enough to fulfill the void that I was feeling, after my mom passed away. I thought that would be enough. Like, how do I get through it? What do I do next? So I kind of put myself in this hole, dark area, really dark area. And I just kept remembering what my mom always taught me, to go to God, pray about it, give your life over. I wanted to, but it just didn't feel like it was going to be any justice. I felt like I was already at the bottom. So it got worse for me, and it got worse and worse and worse actually. So my marriage started to fall apart. Like I said, I didn't have any friends at that time, didn't have any family. The only thing I really was holding on to was my daughter. And I realized that I started getting anxiety. And my anxiety attacks would get so bad I would wake up at nighttime just like thinking that I was almost on death row. Like I felt like I was about to die at any moment, and it got so bad I just kind of made peace with death. If I died, nobody would care. And I started to try to get myself out of it by just like putting myself around my daughter more often, like noticing that I have to live for her. But the anxiety just took over. It was just a battle of when, and my health issues started to happen around that time as well. Like I knew at that time something was eating at me in a weird way, and the enemy was really attacking me. There were certain days I would wake up and I was thinking about suicide. Um, and I've never been a suicidal person, never. I was always happy, joyful, laughing, playful, But it was such a dark time, and I just couldn't get out of it on my own. My wife couldn't help me get out of it. She didn't know kind of what to do to kind of get through to me to help me actually get through it. And I know there's somebody in that position now, eating up, anxiety is eating up at you, suicidal thoughts, want to leave your marriage. Sometimes I just want to just go move into a house somewhere and just never come outside. I don't know. It's just the strangest moments of my life, and I started to realize I was getting attacked in every way. My job ended up getting lost. Um, just disconnection from everything. And I realized that I was in this part of the world where I was alone. Even though I had all these people around me, I was just still alone and on the inside, and it was just void. And I just can't explain it, but you just get comfortable being alone. It hurts, but you get used to the pain. And every time I would try to pray or do things like that, it was just kind of like just pushed past me in a way. And I couldn't get connected the way I wanted to. So I found peace in doing like small things like pornography, things like that. And every time I would do it, I would feel even worse afterwards. Like I would feel even more like a loser or even more like just a nobody. I would get on social media and see people having parties and me personally, I just felt like parties was just not what I wanted to do. I didn't have any friends, didn't have any family that really was close and connected to, so I couldn't really talk to anyone. So I had to talk to myself, and what was inside of my head wasn't the right thing at all. And I realized that I was at this moment in my life where I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up. I didn't want to stay around anymore. So at that point, things just started happening really bad for me. Um, I was $7,000 behind on rent. Don't ask how. Marriage was attacked. Suicidal thoughts, anxiety taking over. Felt like giving up. I was actually on my way having my second child, and I realized I didn't even have money to even buy the things that he needed. And as a man, I just kind of just felt less than a man. Like I was always been the provider, but at that time I couldn't even provide for my family. And so I asked myself, well, why should she love me if I can't provide the thing that she need? So I felt loveless, alone. And the worst part about it all was my anxiety. It made me feel doomed every time I walked outside. Like, it was just let it happen. So I knew that I had to do something. I knew I had to do something. If I kept going like that, I wouldn't have made it. So I knew that I had to do something different. I knew that I had to give my life in a different way. So I'm up one night. I got tired of the depression, the stress, the anger, thoughts of suicide, thoughts of anxiety, marital issues, financial issues, just the thought of mourning my mom's death. I got tired of all of it. So I decided I got to do something. I got to make a change, but I didn't know how. So I said a prayer, and I was like, God, show me how can I do it. And I just thought like, oh, well, God ain't gonna truly show me. I don't know how God speak to me at that point. I didn't really know like how can I even do this. But one night I'm up indulging in my flesh, strolling on TikTok, and I came across this pastor. And his name is Pastor Ali Richardson. If you're ever interested in looking him up, great pastor. And he's told me that I can do it. He told me that I needed to stop pushing God off. I needed to get deeper now. He told me that there's no more waiting. You need Jesus in your life now. Why are you pushing him off? He's calling you. He's allowing you to go through the things that you went through for a reason. He's allowing you to face certain issues in your life, certain anxiety, certain stress, certain depressions in your life because he wants you to come deeper to him. He can heal you, but he wants a more of an intimate relationship with you. So it did something to me that night, and I decided to fully give my life to Christ. I couldn't deal with it any longer. I said, I can't do this on my own any longer. I need Christ in my life. I need God to heal me, to save me. And I decided at that point that this is it for me. I'm changing. I'm starting a new era. I brought my wife in there at the time, and I showed her the video, and she was in tears. I knew the Holy Spirit was speaking to both of us. Like, both of us need to get our life together, not just me, but both of us. And he had us pretty much fully commit to God that night. and it was late. I'm talking about, like, I don't know why he went live. I know he was in Atlanta and I was in Wisconsin, but it was time zone differences. But it changed my entire life that night. So I knew at that point that I had to get deeper. Also, God was telling me, like, you believe in me, you're coming to me, you have gave your life over to me, but now I need you to come deeper. I need you to go on a 30-day fast, no masturbation, no porn, no nothing, not even sex with your wife. And that one almost took me out, but I decided to do it to cleanse my flesh. And I realized God had me doing different tasks to get to know Him better. I had to delete almost all social medias, all different things. It just focused on just me, my wife, and God. And He made us go way deeper than the average. Sometimes people read the Bible once a week, go to church once a week. They'll watch a sermon once a week, pray maybe only at nighttime. We have to pray every day, all day. We watch about 4 different sermons a day. And a sermon's like an hour, 2 hours long. It was like Bible study in our house every day. We had to praise, we had to worship, we had to go deeper. He was calling us to a deeper, more intimate relationship with Him. Not just, saying one prayer and going to bed, being like, okay, that's enough. But He had us doing things that normal people just wouldn't do. The people that we was around didn't do. We couldn't listen to certain music, we couldn't watch certain movies. He had us learn spiritual warfare. And I looked up like a month after doing all this, and I'm deep into my Bible. I'm deep into Christ, and I'm deep into learning more about Him and His character, and letting God transform me to be more like Christ. After that, I realized that I can sleep all night. I felt more love for my wife than I ever felt in my life. I started to feel hope. I didn't have anxiety attacks, depression attacks, stress attacks. I was just going through this battle of I just wanted to get deeper. Like, I just felt like my relationship wasn't deep enough. So I just kept going and I kept going and I kept going. I let the Holy Spirit minister to me of how I can be different, how I can be better, how I can lead a more holier life. And still to this day, I'm in that deep. I'm in the deep. So if anyone watched this video to the end, so if you stuck around to the end of this video, then thank you for listening to my testimony. But another thing, if you stuck around to the end of this video, God is telling you to get deep. He's wanting you to get deeper with Him. If you're facing all these problems in your life, you're going through all these stress, you're going through all these things, sometimes God allows the bad days and trials and tribulations so you can get to know Him better, so your faith can be strengthened. Come closer to God. It's time. Don't push it off like I did. Don't make the same decision I made to just wait until it was a good time. It's never going to be a good time. The time is now. As long as you wait, the enemy is going to attack more and more and more. It's time to get deeper. It's time to stop being lukewarm. It's time to stop being wishy-washy, half world today, half Christian tomorrow. It's time to stop worrying about your other family members and what they're doing, their friends. It's time for you to make that decision. Like, right now is today. Today is the day. I'm not waiting till tomorrow. I'm not waiting till next year. I don't need more money. I don't need to get my life together. Stop believing that you can stop sinning on your own. You can't. Without Christ, you cannot stop sin. You're going to have to go to Him first. You have to love Christ. Put Him first in your life. And I promise you, it's the best decision you'll ever make. Give your life over to Christ. Start off by believing in Him. Start off by letting Him guide you. Let the Holy Spirit in. Pray to God to fill you up with the Spirit so He can lead you closer to God. Now is the time. Don't wait no longer. You're not promised tomorrow. You're going to put yourself in a circumstance where you're not going to be able to someday. Don't make the same mistake like I did. Now is today. Today is today. Do it now.